So, you've just taken a big step by completing the Relationship Readiness Index.
And now you've got this report full of really valuable data all about you. But what does it all mean?
Well, in this explainer, we're going to decode that report together and turn all those insights into your personal blueprint for better relationships.
You know, this idea you're seeing right here is really the core philosophy of your entire report. The journey within before the journey together. It's all about the idea that the strongest partnerships, they aren't just found, they're built on a solid foundation of self-awareness. So think of this report as the map for your own internal journey.
You've already done the hard part by answering all those questions. So now we get to the really rewarding part, the discovery. We're going to go through your results page by page and unlock some real tangible insights into your communication style, your emotional needs, and what truly makes you tick in a relationship.
It's also important for you to know that this report isn't just arbitrary. It's actually grounded in decades of research from IKSC Knowledge Bridge, and it was guided by Dr. Atul B. Patil. And the goal is pretty simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. To give you a clear, data-driven path to self-discovery, so you can find a partner who really aligns with the real you.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this journey. First, we'll look at your fundamental self-discovery blueprint. Then, we're going to uncover the 3 selves that you present to the world. After that, we'll dive deep into your unique character and strengths. And finally, we'll translate all of that knowledge into practical ways for building stronger connections. Sound good?
All right, first up, your self-discovery blueprint. Let's think of this as the foundation for everything else we're about to uncover. This isn't just a bunch of raw data. It's the key to building the kind of emotional awareness you need to be truly ready for a lasting partnership.
At the very core of your report is this framework called the DISC model. It's a really powerful way to understand behavior across 4 key areas. So first, there's D for dominance. That's all about how you approach problems and challenges. Next up is I for influence. That's how you interact with and persuade others. Then we have S for steadiness, which is your response to pace and consistency. And finally, C for conscientiousness, how you approach rules and procedures.
And this graph, this is where you can see your personal results really come to life. What's so fascinating here is that no one is just one letter. We're all a unique blend. This wheel visualizes your specific mix of these 4 traits. The shape you see mapped out there tells a story about your natural tendencies, showing which styles are more prominent for you and how they all interact.
Okay, now that we have that foundational DISC framework down, let's see how it actually applies in different situations. We'll do that by exploring what the report calls your 3 selves. This section reveals something really interesting. We don't just have one personality. Nope, we adapt and show different versions of ourselves depending on the context.
This slide breaks it down perfectly. First, you have your private self. This is your core, your instinctive self, the you that comes out when you're either totally relaxed or under a lot of pressure. Then there's the projected self. Think of this as the mask you consciously wear, the version of yourself you think you should be in a given situation. And finally, you have the public self, which is the reality of how others are actually likely to perceive you, a blend of the other 2.
So why does this matter? Well, the key insight is in the gap between these selves, especially between your private and your projected self. See, when that gap is small, it means you're living authentically. In a relationship, that's huge. It builds trust and emotional safety. But a large gap? That can be a red flag. It might mean you're constantly burning energy trying to be someone you're not, and that can lead to burnout and a lot of misunderstanding.
Okay, now we're moving from the general framework to the specifics of, well, you. This next section is really the heart of your personal report. We're about to dive into your unique character, style, and strengths. This is where that blueprint becomes a detailed portrait.
Now, to make these abstract ideas a little more concrete, your report uses a character metaphor. A lot of times, it's an animal, like this lion. It's really crucial to remember this isn't a label. It's more like a shorthand, a powerful image to help you visualize your core energy, your natural instincts, and just the general rhythm of how you interact with the world.
And then your report gets incredibly specific. I mean, it details things like your primary goals, your default emotions, and even your deepest fears in a relationship. So, for example, a lion character might have a goal to lead. They might judge others by their competence, and they might have a deep-seated fear of being taken advantage of. Your report has your specific breakdown, and it creates this incredibly vivid snapshot of your inner world.
Next up, the report looks at your style. So, if your character is your fundamental why, then your style is your how.
this section is all about the practical application of your personality, how you make decisions, how you approach your work, and the specific environment you need to feel effective and really energized.
Okay, pay close attention to this section in your report because this is crucial. It doesn't just list your strengths, it also helps you distinguish between what you want and what you truly need in a relationship. For instance, you might want a partner who shares all your hobbies, but you might need a partner who gives you the space to be independent. Knowing that difference, it's a total game changer for finding a compatible match.
So now we have all this incredible self-knowledge. What do we actually do with it? Well, this final section is all about application. It's about turning these insights into a practical user's guide for building stronger, more meaningful connections, especially with a future partner.
I love this part. Think of this page in your report as a personalized user manual for yourself. It provides a clear, custom-made list of do's and don'ts for anyone who wants to communicate effectively with you. This is one of the most valuable pages you can possibly share with a partner. It's like giving them a roadmap to your heart and taking all the guesswork out of how to make you feel supported and understood.
Look, every relationship has conflict. That's just natural. The real key is how you navigate it. Your readiness for a relationship is so deeply tied to how you handle stress and disagreement. This section of your report helps you identify your patterns by breaking down different types of conflict so you can really understand where your personal challenges might lie.
Just take a moment and really think about this for yourself. When you're stressed out, what's your default reaction? Do you get more controlling? Do you maybe withdraw and shut down? Just knowing your tendencies is the absolute first step to managing them.
Your report gets very specific right here. It details how you might appear to others during a conflict. Like, on the outside, you might seem demanding, or maybe withdrawn. But then, and this is so crucial, it reveals what you actually need on the inside in that moment. Perhaps you need space to think, or maybe you need to feel in control of the situation. Understanding that gap is absolutely vital for resolving conflict effectively.
And that really brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. This journey through your report, it isn't just some interesting exercise in self-discovery. When it comes to building a healthy, a resilient, and a deeply happy marriage, the kind of self-awareness you've just unlocked isn't just a nice-to-have, it's absolutely essential.
And this whole journey of self-discovery is really made possible by the incredible pioneering work of Dr. Atul B. Patil and the whole team at IKSC Knowledge Bridge through their Swayam Yog initiative. Their goal is actually pretty simple: to help young people, just like you, understand themselves on a deeper level so you can find the right life partner.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to meet the 3 different versions of you. Then, we'll see how to turn that awareness into real growth. After that, we'll build out your relationship toolkit, learn how to talk to every different style, and finally, figure out how to navigate those natural tensions that pop up between different personalities.
First up, let's get to the core of your report. You might think you're just, one person, but the truth is we all show up a little differently depending on what's going on. Your report actually captures 3 key versions of you.
The first one is your natural style. This is your gut instinct. It's the most authentic you. It's how you act when the pressure's on and you don't even have time to think about it. This is your core, completely unfiltered way of dealing with problems, people, and how things get done.
Next up is your adapted style. Now, this is the version of you that consciously changes things up to fit in with your environment. Think of it like your work self, or how you behave in certain social situations where you feel like you need to act a certain way to get by or to succeed. It's a very deliberate choice.
And finally, we have your public style. This is pretty much what it sounds like. It's the blend of your natural and adaptive behaviors. It's the overall impression you give to the world. For most people in your day-to-day life, this is the you that they know best.
So, you know your 3 styles. Big deal, right? Well, actually, yeah, it is a big deal. This next part is all about turning that self-knowledge into a real advantage for building a strong, amazing relationship. It's about moving from just knowing this stuff to actually growing from it.
See, understanding these styles helps you unlock your potential. It helps you clearly see your natural strengths, understand what really motivates you deep down, and even identify your core emotional needs. Once you know that, you can start to align your personal goals with your relationship goals, which is absolutely key for deeper emotional compatibility with a partner.
The report has this one line that just says it all. Growth is not about becoming someone else, it's about becoming your best self. This isn't about fixing your flaws or changing who you are. It's about using this new awareness to build a healthier, stronger partnership as the awesome person you already are. Okay, let's get practical. This section is your relationship toolkit. We're moving out of the theory and into real, actionable steps you can start using today to improve how you communicate and connect with a potential partner.
It all boils down to 3 simple but super powerful steps. First, you've got to deeply understand your own style, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Second, you learn to recognize the behavioral styles in other people. And third, and this one is the real game changer, you learn to adapt your communication to connect with them on their level.
And that leads us to this crucial idea, the platinum rule. Now, we've all heard of the golden rule, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. Well, the platinum rule takes it a step further. Communicate with others the way they want to be communicated with. This, right here, is the secret to making people feel truly seen and heard.
So, how do you actually do that? Well, this chart is your guide. It shows you how you can tweak your communication based on 2 things: how direct you are and how open you are. So, for example, if you're talking to someone who's a bit more reserved, you might try being less open by focusing more on facts than feelings. Or if you're with someone who's really fast-paced, you can be more direct and just get right to the point. It's a map for adapting on the fly.
All right, now we're getting to the heart of it. How to recognize these styles in other people. I want you to think of the 4 main behavioral types: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness as 4 completely different languages. Once you learn the basics of each one, you can communicate with pretty much anyone. This table is a fantastic cheat sheet. It shows you exactly what each style cares about most, what they're afraid of, and what they might act like when they're stressed out. D for dominance is all about the goal. I for influence is all about people. S for steadiness prioritizes the relationship itself, and C for conscientiousness is all about the task. Understanding these drivers is everything.
So let's look at the 2 direct styles. To connect with a dominant style, you've got to be brief, get right to the point, and focus on the results. What they need is control. For an influence style, you want to be optimistic and engaging, support their ideas and feelings. What they need is approval and social connection.
And now for the indirect styles. For someone with a steadiness style, you have to slow down, explain your thinking, and offer some personal assurance. They really need stability. With a conscientiousness style, you need to give them the data. Be precise and give them plenty of time to think. They need accuracy and to know they're making the right call.
Okay, time for the advanced level. Every style has an opposite, which creates what we call natural tension. But here's the thing, tension isn't bad. Your full report goes into all the different dynamics, but let's just look at a couple of key examples to see how understanding this can turn a potential fight into a source of strength and connection.
The first major tension is between the D and S styles. And this is all about a clash of tempo, of speed. The D style is fast, assertive, and totally focused on the task. The S style is patient, calm, and focused on the relationship. The D can see the S as slow, and the S can see the D as, well, a bit aggressive.
This picture just captures it perfectly, doesn't it? One style is the engine, always driving forward, while the other is the anchor, holding things steady. Neither one is right or wrong. The solution here is all about finding a balance. The D has to learn to slow down a bit and ask for input, and the S needs to learn to speak up clearly, even when things are moving fast.
The other main tension between the I and C styles is a clash of focus. One side prioritizes how people feel, while the other prioritizes how things work. The I style is all about people, emotion, and telling big picture stories. The C style, on the other hand, is focused on process, facts, and precision.
And this visual just shows you how these 2 can connect. A bridge has to be built between the emotional, big-picture world of the I and the factual, structured world of the C. The key is for the I to appreciate logic and maybe be a bit more concise, and for the C to recognize that emotions matter and to affirm the positive intention. When they do that, they bridge that gap and create something really powerful together.
So we end with a question for you. Now that you have this incredible framework for understanding yourself and other people, it kind of changes how you look at relationships, doesn't it? So what's the most important quality, not just a trait, but a dynamic, that you will look for in a life partner now? That, right there, is the real power of your rapport.
You know, at its core, this whole thing is built on one really simple but powerful idea. The best relationships don't just happen. They start with knowing yourself first. It's all about taking that journey inward before you can really start a journey with someone else. So you've got this report right in front of you. Now, I want you to stop thinking of it as some kind of test with a score. Instead, picture it as your own personal map. It's a guide to your own inner world, designed to help you find your way to a partnership that truly fits. But of course, a map is pretty useless if you don't know how to read it, right? And that's exactly why we're here. We're going to walk through this together, page by page, so you can understand what it all means. Now, this entire framework, it's not something just pulled out of thin air. It comes from the incredible work of Dr. Atul B. Patil at IKSC Knowledge Bridge. Through their Swayam Yoga initiative, they're doing amazing work helping young people like you really discover who they are. And as they always say, this report doesn't put you in a box. It just shines a light on your blueprint so you can build something real. So where do we start? We start with you. The very first step is to decode your own inner compass, to really get a handle on your personal behavioral style. Okay, so you've probably heard of personality models like DISC, which has, 4 basic traits. Well, this report goes way deeper. It uses a 12-factor analysis that looks at the push and pull between your core traits. Are you someone who prioritizes people over process? Do you tend to lead with logic or with high energy? The answers tell a fascinating story about how you operate. For instance, just look at how your dominance, that's the D, interacts with your influence, the I. If your D is higher, you might be a directive executor. You're all about getting things done. But if I is higher, you're more of an inspirational leader. See the difference? Or look at dominance versus conscientiousness. High D makes you a bold risk taker, while high C makes you a much more measured, careful planner. Your report breaks down all 12 of these ratios for you. Now, this next part is where it gets really interesting. The report shows that we all have 3 different selves. You've got your natural self, that's the real you when you're totally relaxed. Then there's your adapted self, kind of like the mask you wear to fit in at work or in social settings. And finally, the public self, how other people actually see you. The key insight here isn't any single one of these, but the gap between them. A big gap can mean you're burning a ton of energy trying to be someone you're not. And all of this, your tendencies, your 3 selves, it all comes together in this one simple, powerful image, your integrated behavioral diamond. It's basically a snapshot of your unique personality all in one glance. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, once you've got a good grip on who you are, it's time to get real. Because, let's be honest, no matter how perfect 2 people are for each other, conflict is going to happen. This next part is all about preparing for those real-world challenges. So, your report actually outlines the biggest friction points for new couples. We're talking about everything from money and communication styles to dealing with in-laws and figuring out who takes out the trash. Now, the point here isn't to scare you. It's to give you a heads up so you can talk about these things before they blow up into big problems. So we've looked at you, and we've looked at the challenges. Now let's flip the coin and talk about the other half of the equation, your partner. This section is all about creating a benchmark for what true compatibility looks like for you. So, what is this benchmark partner profile? Let's be clear, this is not a shopping list for the perfect person. Think of it more like a mirror. It reflects your own deep down needs for what would balance you out, what would complement your style, and ultimately, what kind of person would help you grow. And this right here is where the magic happens. Your report puts your own natural style side by side with the style of your benchmark partner. And seeing that comparison, well, for many people, it's a huge aha moment. It suddenly makes sense why you're drawn to certain people and clarifies what you truly need from a partner to feel supported and happy. Look, self-awareness is amazing, but it's only half the battle. The last, and honestly, the most crucial part of your report is about taking all this knowledge and turning it into action. This is your game plan. Your report gives you a clear framework for having the conversations that matter. Don't just guess if you're compatible, find out. Talk about your core values, ask each other how you handle stress, and have those tough reality check conversations about money and chores. This is how you build a rock-solid foundation. At the end of the day, that's what this entire relationship readiness report is. It's a conversation starter. It gives you the tools and the language to start the most important discussion of your life. The whole journey can begin with just one question. So, what will you ask first?